All right, guys, welcome to the first, not annual, but the very first ever Ask Aviator podcast. This has been something we've talked about for freaking forever.
Yeah, we have.
Like, seriously, you got to move closer to the mic. They won't be able to hear you. Eat the microphone, man. This is awesome. So I'm going to close out these things so I can't see myself. But we are set. We're live, and I hope that you guys can all hear us. If you can, please check in on the chat. Can you guys hear Travis Burns?
Check, check.
And of course, you probably can hear me because I'm obnoxiously loud. So wanted to just welcome everybody here. This is a monumental first podcast live stream challenge because as you guys may have seen yesterday, we made the video or released the video that we filmed over the weekend with Travis announcing his retirement. And trust me, he'll be back to work in a week. But we're super excited about the future. There's been lots of questions. We've had some really gracious people. Absolutely. A few people who were less gracious, but that's okay.
99% gracious.
Yeah. I'll go with 99. And I'm just looking. Everyone says it sounds good. So Mike Tiffy, welcome. Hey, glad to see you. Mike Tiffy says that Travis looked far more beautiful a few minutes ago.
What happened?
She switched seats.
Oh.
We had Nina in here earlier.
I tried to get her to stay. She ran away when we went live.
So this is the very first one. We've got one camera angle, just a few lights. We've got some more things we're going to work on. This is what we call the war room. We're in the north compound, the new building. Yeah. And what happens in here, Trev?
Man, there's a lot that happens in here, guys. This is shipping, receiving, inventory, maintenance.
We're getting yelled at by John behind
the director's giving the cues. So all that happens in here. Yeah. We've got a room in the back where we've got machine tools where we can do repairs.
Machine everything.
Big repairs.
Big old lathe and a brake, and we can make really cool stuff.
I don't know how to use.
I don't either, but I always wanted one, and now we have
really
one.
Cool to have.
So we have a ton of stuff to cover. We wanted to talk to you guys about why Travis is leaving, but we want to talk about more than that. We want to kind of get your feedback from the paramotor community about what you'd be looking for in a podcast with us, because there's some awesome podcasts out there. Obviously, Anthony Vela's, dude, the guy, first off, is one of the most beautiful men I've ever seen in my entire life. It's so awkward how beautiful he is. And his voice, like, I feel like if I could just put some man on, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. But we want to talk about what you would be looking for in a podcast with us, because we have tons of incredible guests. We want to bring in each of our new employees, our new team members, and let you get to know what they're about and why they're here. Because, like Chris, our new school manager, his last job was as a launch director for SpaceX. Like, he shouldn't be here, right? Yeah, right. But he's got the bug, he's got the passion. And
look at Alex, who was he directed logistics for ATP, which is one of the largest, if not the largest, pilot training schools in the U.S.
In the world. I mean, they have 400 airplanes, and he came here to work with us as well. And John Hancock behind the desk over there, super awesome. His bride, Nina, just joined us. Today was her first day. We've got some really cool announcements with other people who like to crash podcasts. We'll tell you more about that later. But, this is, for us, we just want to kind of talk to you guys and share some stories. Our goal was to kind of make these a pilot spotlight where we get to interact with each of you guys every week, every Tuesday night, sit down, share some stories of our favorite flights, maybe share the true stories behind some flights that, like, when you're working with a sponsor, you're working with a certain project, you have to be really gracious. And then 5 years later, you can totally share that, like, when you're in Jamaica, you almost died like 17 times. I have the footage from that, So we're gonna have some really cool opportunities to share some of that stuff in the future. And I'm excited. And Travis had a favorite flight he's gonna share about later, but yeah.
And hopefully answer some questions.
Yeah. So as you guys are kind of flocking in now, how many viewers are we up to, John? 10 million viewers. Yes. Paradigm is working, guys. This is fantastic news. But yeah, so lots of changes at Aviator, really, honestly, truly, and it's been interesting seeing some of the comments. All of them are positive, and the fact that Travis and I have remained friends, and actually, honestly, I feel more at ease with him now, knowing that he's doing what he wants to do, knowing that you have confidence again. Like you're going to be doing stuff that you should have been doing for the last 3 years instead of slaving away with me.
I wouldn't say that. No. I was exactly where I should have been for the last 4 years. Almost.
Yeah. Oh gosh, it's been 4 years. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But things change.
Yeah.
And it's positive.
It is.
Life's a series of changes.
Mm-hmm. And changes can be good. I mean, I think for me, at first, I guess we could kind of tell the story a little bit about how it all went down, because that might help people understand a little better.
Yeah.
So Thursday night, I get home from a meeting in Tampa, and I lay in bed. My wife's in the other room, and I open my email because as an entrepreneur, business owner, particularly a business owner with paramotor business, because you guys break your stuff at the weirdest times of day, all right? Like, seriously.
Yeah.
I have gotten more phone calls, like 1 a.m. The guy's like, I'm in Alaska at sunset, my motor won't run. I'm like, it's 1 o'clock in the morning.
And I've got to fly in tomorrow.
I know. I traveled 3,000 miles for this fly-in. Well, why didn't you pre-flight it first, bro? You know?
Yeah, well, sometimes stuff does happen.
Oh, it does. I know. It's the worst.
To serve and to get it out there. And
exactly.
That's just part of the business. It's an addiction.
It is.
And when the stuff's not working, man, you want to get it working as quick as you can.
But it leads us to checking our email at 10:19 at night, and that leads me to reading an email that like literally just felt like flabbergasted me. And it was like the nicest, sweetest, most beautiful breakup letter you've ever read in your life. It made me feel tremendously honored. Made me feel really dumb for not seeing it coming. And the next morning I come into work and I'm super nervous. You know,
So am I.
Petrified nervous. And I walk in and Travis's dad is here. Which I think your dad's been here 3 times ever.
The timing of that, yeah.
I was like, oh my Lord, why is your father
I hadn't
here?
even talked to my dad yet. He had just walked in, and you guys walked in at the same time.
Where do you want me to move?
Director.
This way?
Okay, sorry.
I can move closer together. You want me this way? Oh, okay. Is that better? See, we're being directed. So I walk in the door. Travis's dad is there. And I'm like, first up, I'm a little bit scared of his dad. I've been scared of your dad since day one.
Why?
He's so intimidating. He's like clean cut, sharp, can like play a mean game of golf, and he's got tons of business experience.
And he's got an RBF like me.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Your mom got all the joy in the family.
Right.
So I walk in and I like look at Travis across the room. There's like 15 people in this room right here. And I look at him and I kind of slide up to him and give him a hug. And I was like, I love you, man. Yeah. He's like, I love you too. And then I said, you know how like nervous I was walking in here this morning and how nervous I was after I opened that email? And he's like,
yeah, no, I was too.
I just love your line. He replies like, you know how nervous I was pressing send?
Oh, that's exactly what I said. I think I hovered over that send button for 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh. So that's how it began. That night we got together and we didn't put this in the YouTube video, but we consumed a copious amount of adult beverages.
Yes. You had a driver.
Very safely. We had a driver. Everything was fine. We discussed the why, kind of talking, because this has not just been my passion. Like, this has been a passion I've had building Aviator, but a lot of the vision for why we're here and how we got here has been led by Travis because of his prior experiences and everything else. It was just, I couldn't have gotten there without you. So there's a lot of emotion. We did a lot of crying like grown men.
A lot of crying.
And then we basically, 2 days later, we sat down and banged out all the details and shook hands, hugged it out, and it's done.
Hugged, shook hands. And said, we said to each other, that's got to be a record. Like, that should go in a business book somewhere. That,
yes,
as far as a dissolution of a partnership, I can't imagine it having gone any better.
No. And the thing is, like, everybody says it's like a marriage, and if you break it up, it's going to be brutal. And instead, it was a really, I don't know, I walked out of it feeling like we'd had like the best makeup sex. The things you shouldn't say.
Right.
No, but really, like, we've always done this like friends. We've always tried to work together and be really positive. We've had, I can count on one hand the number of disagreements we've even had in the last 4 years.
One a year.
Yeah.
One a year.
Yeah, about one a year. And it's for me, it's been a really neat thing. So we finalized everything on Friday. Or Thursday, yeah, Friday.
Went to the attorney. Signed our divorce papers.
We had the scariest thing happen to us, though. So we did the logical thing, which was instead of driving 40 minutes, we pulled the airplane out and we flew 10. And then got an Uber.
Yeah.
And the scariest part of the whole trip was that freaking Uber.
Who we had to walk half a mile to meet because he couldn't find the FBO at
You're sitting there on your phone watching the Uber app, and the car is literally doing donuts. He's just circling in like one spot. We're like, what are you doing? And then we got every yellow light we pull up to, like a flashing yellow light. He'd drive down to 10 miles an hour, and all the cars behind us were piling up. I'm like, we're going to die. 7-minute drive to the lawyer's office. But I wanted to go ahead and read some questions. Do you have anything else you wanted to talk about? Someone says Travis's mic's not working.
Hello.
Can you guys hear Travis? Gorilla says your mic's not working.
Gorilla. Hey, bud.
Hi, Gorilla.
Can you hear me? Check.
All right. So we'll see if that worked. just quickly to go back through some questions here. First off, just a huge hello to everybody who's here. It's amazing to see some of the OGs like Milkman from back in the Elite Clan. We've got Mike Cotter, Parker, Ross Gasway, Dan Canfield, Audrey, Ripman Writing, Bob Garber, tons and tons of folks. I've got somebody who said scroll up to find a question. I can't find your question. Jeff, awesome. Yeah, Parker, awesome, man. Gotta love it. Yeah. Parker, I'm really sorry we keep stealing Ron Turan from you, but he's really, really good. So.
And I saw the pictures of your engine today, Parker.
Yeah, I discussed that with Ron. I think that those engines like to blow up too much. Partha says that Travis helped him a lot as an instructor and even helped him select his wing. He's irreplaceable at Aviator.
Thank you, bud.
Absolutely agree. Travis is irreplaceable. One of the things that's really important for me to put out there is that Travis will never be replaced. We're going to bring in some other really incredible instructors. We have actually job openings right now. If any of you guys are interested in being an instructor, you have more than 75 hours of flying paramotors, you have a deep desire to share your love for the sport, contact us, send an email to myself, Eric, and to Chris at Aviator PPG. There's a lot of growth that's going to happen in the school, but Travis is irreplaceable, and that's why he's not going anywhere. You know, I made it very clear, like, you can't leave Lake Wales, aside from traveling, that's fine. You can't leave the company completely. He's going to sit on the board of directors. In fact, after this, I have a meeting with him to talk about some big decisions because, quite frankly, like, I'm a 33-year-old homeschool high school dropout who loves aviation. I have a lot of business experience, but I don't have the life experience Travis does. And so I've leaned on him for decision after decision, and he's not going anywhere. While it's definitely a different track, he may not be at the office 12 hours a day, I can almost guarantee he'll be here flying 4.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I said it to someone today, and I like the way I put it. I'm getting off the 8-lane highway onto the 2-lane highway for a little while.
Wait, is this like 2-lane highway like the one in England?
Oh God, no! I hope not.
We haven't told that story. You got to tell the story. What happened? Where were we? Why were we there?
Back to the airport?
Yes.
We were in England in November. We flew to England to have dinner, but it was a really awesome dinner. It was
amazing.
It was an amazing dinner. It was with the Ozone team, who we love passionately, and they're really good folks. And they invited us out for their 20th anniversary dinner. And so the next day we had to go to the Manchester airport, and we gave ourselves plenty of time. I think about 4 hours.
Yeah, like it was supposed to be a 2-hour drive. We're like, well, you know what? We'll give ourselves 4 hours because it's like 4 a.m. You know, and of course it's the Ozone dinner and it's their 20th anniversary party, and so I'd never seen this before, but they serve gin and tonics in literally fish bowls, and there's like 1 shot of gin and like 8 cups of tonic, and so neither of us had like had too much to drink, but like we went to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning. We have to get up at 4. We're like, okay, well let's, and then they shut the entire highway down. Yeah.
Oh my God. How many times did we try and get back on that highway? So we ended up going down country roads to get back. And if you've been to England, you see these hedgerows, and they're about 15 feet high.
And like a hedgerow.
And the road width is about the same as a 2-lane road in the U.S.
With no shoulder.
Lorries, they call them, the 18-wheelers, coming around the corners that you can't see because of the hedgerows, and we're getting knocked off the road left and right. And the worst part, we got to this point and we're listening to Waze tell us how to get there, and we're scared because we're not going to make our flight, and we're going to have to fly back tomorrow, and we've got a class that starts the next day.
Yeah, we had to get back for class.
Our biggest concern. We had to get back for class. And it took us over this pedestrian bridge that we went over, and we had to fold the mirrors in on the car to be able to clear the sides of the bridge.
And there was still tap, tap.
We still rubbed the mirrors on the bridge with them folded in.
Oh my God.
But we made it.
We made it. We made it by the hair of our chinny chin
In fact,
chin.
they refused to board us because we weren't there on time, and we sweet talked them into letting us on the airplane.
Well, and the worst part was I checked on online. We had two separate flights because I had to fly back to North Carolina where my family was for my cousin's wedding, and I had my flights on my phone, and so I'm like, go to security, passport, put my phone down to the scanner, and it's like, I tried it like 10 times. Now I'm 20 minutes before my flight, and I'm like, I'm not ever gonna make this flight. So I run up to the guy's security, and he's like, sir, you're not flying out of London. And I was like, did I book the wrong flight? Because I completely forgot that I connected in London and I was just using the wrong ticket.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Yeah, interesting.
So yeah, the last 4 minutes of Travis's video, I may or may not have cried making that video. It was super emotional 2 days. By the way, 246 gigabytes or 36 gigabytes of render files.
That was a lot of footage.
Because I went through all kinds of our adventures and I left out so many. I kept like, every time I watched it back, I'm like, man, there's so many things I could have put in there that we missed.
And I got to say that I didn't watch that till 5:30 yesterday. I wanted to watch it at home with my wife.
I was hoping you hadn't.
And honestly, I was just expecting it to be, our conversation that we had on camera. I had no idea that you put all that stuff.
Just 2 extra days of effort.
And I know my wife cried, and I think I might have a little bit too.
He didn't cry.
Oh.
Oh. No. Well, I feel like I should answer for Todd Scandrett and just say, military.
Oh.
I'm kidding. No, Todd is on here. That's why I was giving you crap. I'm kidding. But yeah, no, making that video just totally reseeded for me. Not just the value of our friendship, but the value of what we've been able to contribute to the sport. And I'm not trying to pat ourselves on the back or anything. I've been so blessed by how many people have come up to us. It was neat this last year at Oshkosh. For years we've been going to Oshkosh, and the only other people that have been there have been one competitor. Yeah. And this year, I think there were 12 companies that sold paramotors there.
There's a lot.
And the only person out of all of those that didn't come up to us was the other competitor that had been there in years past. Every other one of them came up and thanked not just Travis and I, but our entire Paradigm team, all the Martins and Tucker and all Manu, David, the people who've really put their passion into sharing paramotoring with the world. And we're so honored by that, because for us, it really is our mission. Like we believe that your life gets better when you fly, and we want everyone to have the opportunity to fly that way. And so I think it's been, to me, it's just amazing to see how the entire network and community of people have come together to support the silly little things that we do here, the big things like Paradigm. And yeah, so thank you to all of you guys, all you industry folks, all the Alliance members, all the manufacturers, and especially you pilots, because your trust and your enjoyment of what we get to accomplish here is incredible for us.
I mean, any good paramotor school does this for the passion.
Yep, 100%. 100%. It's really for all the chicks in the industry. I mean, this is like second only to mud wrestling for like awesome, like tons of females in the business.
That's a whole nother topic about getting more women into the industry.
Yep.
And I think it's pretty neat having, Elena and Anthony's girlfriend out
yeah.
there, and Jacqueline.
Well, Catherine's learning to fly.
Catherine's
yeah.
learning to fly here just to inspire
yep.
more women. And this is honest to God, the truth. Eric and I, we've trained hundreds and hundreds of men and maybe 24 women.
1% is what I figure.
And
yep.
if you had to make a generality, if you had to stereotype, women pick it up quicker, guys.
Way quicker. Like,
they're so much more gentle. They, with their movements, and they understand they're not trying to over control everything. So they truly are a pleasure to train, and,
yep.
and they enjoy it.
And I think that it's
we get a lot of couples that come down here where the girlfriend, wife, fiance came because the husband, fiance wanted them to come, and they felt like they got dragged into it. And 4 days into training, guess who's doing better?
And guess who is more passionate about it? Yeah, yeah.
It's a riot. It's awesome to see that.
And it's fun too, because you get the relationship dynamics too. We had a couple come and train about 4 years ago, and she was an Air Force pilot, 100 pounds soaking wet, tiny little thing. Puts a paramotor on her back and starts doing freaking pull-ups. And I'm like, what the heck? She's a beast. And her husband was a software engineer, and he was like, he was along for the ride because she was passionate. She wanted to do this with him. Now he's on his third motor and fourth wing from us, I think. Super passionate. They're flying to the UK. He flies like every day. It's so cool. Like, do this with your spouse. Like, for me, like, my wife doesn't fly. She has an interest, but she's not excited about it. But I've taught.
At least she's tandem.
Exactly. Twice.
Go for a tandem.
Yeah, Gary, go for a tandem. I taught my brother, James, my brother, Joseph, my sister, Rebecca, and my father all to fly. And being able to fly with family is the ultimate. And that's what we get to create with Aviator, is we get to create a family of aviators, whether we're related or not.
I was here yesterday morning when your dad flew your mom
for the first time.
her first tandem with your dad.
So cool.
And it was so awesome to see that. And what was really awesome was after they landed, they just got out of the trike and they just embraced each other.
Oh.
I swear to God, it was almost 10 minutes.
Oh, I wish I'd known it was happening. I would have come in. That was so cool. I got a text from them to our farewell family kids chat, and there was like a picture of mom in the air, and her grin was like that. It was, I mean, Dad's been flying tandems for us for like 2 months now, I guess. And he does a great job. He's a really good pilot. He's an addict. He's really good at being focused on things. So,
An addict,
yeah. Let me read a couple questions really quick. One that's worth talking about because it's something that is something that Travis and I are still discussing. Mike Cotter brought up, what about Paradigm? Are you going to be involved with Paradigm?
Yes.
Yes. That was an easy.
We have 2 shows this year. The first one is Sun and Fun, April 2nd through the 9th.
Coming up, 20 days.
And then we have Oshkosh, and I am happily and excited to be there for both.
Now, because I need to, would you switch chairs? That one's quieter.
Squeaky chair.
Sorry, we're getting lots of instructions like this from behind the camera, and it's pretty confusing. I can't actually mime the one he just did because that would actually shut this down. But I can stay further away. Okay, eat the mic.
The gain on my mic?
It's up. So because I want all of you guys to help me guilt Travis into this, don't actually do this, but one of the things we've been talking about for the last 6 months is the fact that for Paradigm to do well, we need a couple of things. One, we're desperate for a sponsor. We're in front of between 25 and 50 million eyes a year if we do a full season. That's in-person eyes. And then part 2 of that is that we have a massive social media following, and our media presence is huge. We do STEM school visits. We're basically like a butt fan Blue Angel group, right? So we have an opportunity for a sponsor to get their eyeballs on it. And it could be anybody. Like it could be your small company that happens to do something nationwide, whether you make shoes or you have realtors that work for you. It can be a huge win. So we need a sponsor to help pay for the shows because it's really expensive to move 20 people across the U.S. or around the world. And the second part of it is we needed a show director. We needed somebody who can come in so that Travis and I didn't have to leave the office and go to every show and travel like we did last year 5 weeks straight, away from our families, away from our kids. So what I'm trying to convince Travis of is that next summer, he should be the show director, take his wife and his kids and go explore the U.S. and help run the show. Because I think that'd be amazing and get the opportunity to get the travel in and everything else. So I'm not asking him now, but I want him to consider it. And I want you guys to consider how you can help us with sponsors and whatnot, because literally people don't realize that these shows, like our most expensive show costs us $56,000 to put on for one show, right? That's a lot of money. Yeah. And it came out of our pocket because we really believed in it. It was the very first show. It was Oshkosh 2016. We thought if we could put this together, we could convince the FAA, we can work with the right people, we could do something huge and really showcase what paramotoring can be. And so we made the investment. Obviously, we haven't earned that back, but...
Well, yeah, and Paradigm is so much more about inspiring than it is about earning it back. And,
right.
And we went into it
with that knowledge.
For sure.
Where do you want him, John? Do you want him to go this way?
Walk into the logo. This from your
Into the logo.
The logo is right there. It literally 2 inches away.
People can't hear him. Oh, wait, who's that? Crashing the live stream. Let me jump into some more questions. Travis is right. We actually absolutely have a belief that we're trying to do more to help the whole industry, and that's why we haven't done a GoFundMe for Paradigm. We want to make it legitimate. If we could work with someone like Garmin or Nike or Skechers or 1-800-CONTACTS, it doesn't really matter because they're looking for impressions. And we have a 12-minute segment of time where we had, like at St. Louis, we had 1.5 million people watching live and listening to my voice that could have heard about that brand, which is, it's so cool. It's a huge opportunity. So I'm going to keep reading down a few more questions, guys. Any kind of word on the pre-formal training you guys hinted at a few months ago? Bob Garber. Yes. Travis, you want to kind of give a brief overview of where we're going?
Pre-formal training. We're talking about the shortened training, the LMS, that kind of stuff. So just to recap, we're working on a system of training that reduces the amount of time for people to come to Aviator. The way that we do it right now it takes 10 to 14 days, and we feel that the student needs to spend that amount of time to come out of training and be ready to go home, and for us to feel safe, for us to feel that they'll go home safe, and for them to feel confident and safe when they go home. So we're working on a learning management system right now. Well, you guys are. And
you're still here for 3 more months, big boy.
And so there's several aspects to it. There's a learning management system that's going to allow the student to complete about 80 to 85% of their ground school at home. And when they show up to Aviator, they will do a review. And then some of the classes that really require the instructor interaction, that is still going to happen here at Aviator. But they're going to show up with a lot of that done.
And we're working with ambassadors. And we don't want to get details on this yet too much because
I know, we're still,
One of the things you don't know about because you've not been here for the last few days, we actually are working on a pilot program of this. So we're going to have, in July, our first 3 people go through this new advanced course in anticipation of their September training.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be able to showcase in videos exactly how it works so that guys like y'all that don't want to come for 2 weeks can do it.
Yeah.
So don't tell too many details yet.
Oh, well, you told me to describe.
I said overview. Okay, Travis, I didn't catch the name. Involo. What's going on with the Aviator helmets? Who was it?
Tim Current.
Tim Current.
Tim. So, Tim, the Aviator helmets are right behind me in a box, actually.
Yeah, actually, let me grab one really quick.
Yeah, let's do it.
This is so beautiful. Can you see this in frame? I'm going to put it on the table. Swivel this away. You got it? All right. Travis, you describe while I open.
So it's got this beautiful outer case. It's got an inner case. That is the deluxe version of the helmet. So that helmet has AV band capability in one ear cup. It has 2-meter FRS capability in the other ear cup. It has GoPro audio recording, which records absolutely everything in like amazing quality. You won't even be able to tell you're in the air when you listen to it on the ground.
You guys have heard that in our videos from January 1st.
You have, yeah. We used the same helmet. It just wasn't the shell, but the electronics were the same.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does anyone have a window I can lick?
A window you can lick.
I'm going to do the rest of it like this.
Okay, that works. And it's got a Bluetooth system on it as well. So we did a lot of work with Involo, design work in conjunction with them to create a helmet that was going to be a little bit different than what they put out. It was ventilated was the biggest thing, especially because, for those of you guys that live in the southern states, and especially us in Florida, having that ventilation is key so you don't have that disgusting wet helmet liner at the end of your flight.
Exactly.
And it's also a very comfortable helmet. So
it's
we're really
light.
pleased. It's very lightweight. The only thing that we're waiting on, Tim, is the GoPro audio adapters. And so those are on order. We should have those very soon.
I think Friday.
Friday, okay. And once those adapters come in, because you do need, for the Hero 5, 6, and 7, you do need an audio adapter to go with it in order to record to your GoPro. And we didn't want to send these out without the adapters and put that on you guys. So we bought the adapters, and the adapters will come with the helmet.
So what's actually kind of cool, too, is Craig, if you guys watch Tucker's videos, which I imagine many of you do, you probably saw a video last month where 2 one-leg amputees flew solo foot-launch paramotor the same night.
Yeah.
Craig's one of those guys. And he left probably my favorite comment on our goodbye video. He said, "Oh my gosh, Travis, what am I going to do? I'm heartbroken. Oh, wait, I'm going to pull my flight products rider out and go for a flight."
That was great.
And so Craig's actually the very first purchaser of this. He called us today. We have it finally set up. The video for these should come out in a couple of days explaining all the features. The deluxe helmet is a premium product. The more basic helmets are right in line with the other helmets that are on the market.
Right.
But
right.
This does everything we've asked a helmet to do for the last 7 years, that we haven't found a single helmet that can do it, and we've tried to build our own, and we finally just said, listen, let's pay for the molds, let's pay for the development,
design.
let's pay for the design, and now it's freaking done, and I'm so relieved, and we have 30 more coming tomorrow?
40, I think.
40, oh my gosh. So, yes, we will have quite a few of them coming very soon. Got a question here from, I just lost it. Where'd it go? Scud Surfer. Scud, you've asked this question at least 3 times. I apologize for the delay. Scud asks, Saw Aviators now working providing Parajet products. Will you stick with air conception in the future? In generalities, the answer is no. We loved air conception. Travis flew air conception for 5 years before coming here?
Yeah, well,
4
before.
years?
Well, before I came in here as a partner.
Yeah. And when we were looking, it's interesting, like if you look at the storyline of Aviator's offerings, we started out with the cheapest units that were on the market. And then with all the challenges we had with those, we went with the most expensive units on the market. And then with all the challenges that also happened to be the heaviest, all the challenges we had with those, the training, we went with the lightest units on the market. And now we've finally kind of come to a center of balance. We wanted fit and finish. We wanted customer service. We wanted great design.
Great support.
And great support. And that was the biggest thing for us was support and availability. Over the last couple of years, as our schools have grown and we've added Alliance schools and everything else, we got to the point where it was anywhere from 8 to 16 week delay for motors. And we had 75 motors on order at a time, and it just wasn't scalable. And so we decided to add another brand with Fly Products because they were non-competing, in our opinion. It was heavier units.
Correct. They were non-competing, and we did not have an exclusive agreement with the air conception.
We never had an exclusive agreement with air conception. So we basically put together this whole deal with Fly where we said, listen, we want to import the trikes because this is something people don't really realize is that now that tandem trikes are legal, A, that's fantastic. And B, people oftentimes lump trikes into this like negative category where it's not fun, not cool. And I don't understand why, because like I have a bad knee and a bad back. And there's lots of people out there like me. I'm 33 years old. I'm fairly fit, but there's days where I can't run in no wind on a 16-meter free ride.
Right.
So I'm going to strap my 19.8 pound Foxy trike to the bottom of my motor, and I'm going to go rip acro and do barrel rolls and have a blast and never have an issue, right? So we knew we wanted to add trikes to the lineup. It was important to us. We knew that if we did that, it would be helpful to the whole brand. And with the delays we were having with Air Conception, it was more valuable for us to add a second brand. So we let Air Conception know, and quite frankly, they weren't happy. And it was totally their prerogative that we didn't have a contract that stipulated any of this information. So they were like, hey, if you're going to sell the brand, then we're going to have more dealers. They said, listen, we respect your opinion. You're the business owner, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You can do what you want to do. So we did that. We started having a conversation that had started 4 years ago with Parajet. And so we brought Parajet on board as well as Fly. And over the last, I guess, 3 months, we've kind of slowly migrated away from Air Conception. And now we're no longer dealers for them. And it sounds bad, but we're really happy.
But we are still supporting the brand 110%.
No, so anybody who's
right next to
one,
us, we've got a room full of parts for Air Conception.
Actually, that room full of parts costs almost as much as my house.
Yeah, I know.
And what's important to note is I had a message from a guy yesterday who was really upset. He couldn't find the Air Conception videos on our website. He was really angry. And I told him, I said, listen, first off, new website, porting pages, really sorry. And he said something. He said, I bought a Tornado just before you guys made the change. What am I supposed to do if I can't reach Air Conception? I said, listen, if you bought an Air Conception from us, period, we're going to serve you no matter what. We're going to serve you through your warranty. We're going to serve you every way we possibly can. We're going to work as a liaison with Laurent and with the whole team at Technofly and Air Conception because that's who we are. We're never going to leave our clients in the dust because of a decision they made to trust us. That's insane. And actually, this is a great opportunity. Ross.
Can you pull me in now?
Yeah, I'm going to pull you in because this is a great story. Guys, this is Ross Gassaway. I'm going to let you slide in.
You got to be close.
Be real close?
Yeah.
And
Somewhere in between over here. Okay.
Speaking to the logo.
If you guys don't know Ross,
Do bad
Ross
things to Mike.
is the what would we call you? The ultimate
Todd calls me the professional sidekick.
ultimate sidekick wingman. This is your 100th podcast you've been on.
And none of them are mine.
None of them are yours. We actually have a pilot spotlight coming out about Ross soon because his story is incredible. And what's really cool, and I just want to bring you in for a minute to talk about this, is your experience with your Nitro. You might have had the worst experience of any of our customers.
I'm on my third case now and my second head now. But I also fly quite a bit.
You do? And what's your experience been like working with us? How have we helped you?
No matter what motor I'm going to have, it's going to come from here. Just because I know I can always get a part the next day if I need it.
Well, that's the goal.
Yeah. I've been flying my Nitro, and now I definitely am thinking about changing over to either. I'm not sure what. I've flown both machines. They're both awesome. I can't quite make up my mind which way I want to go right now, but I have no intention of getting rid of the Nitro right now because
there's
it's
a new
still
motor
an awesome
too.
machine.
There's a new machine coming soon, so there's always new things. What I want to bring up though is that not just from us, and I say this because I know that Air Conception is watching this too, and it's important to us to never badmouth anybody.
No, it's a great machine.
The Nitro was a game changer. To bring nearly motor power into a unit that weighed 10 pounds less than anybody else's was huge. And you had 3 broken crankcases. I don't know how many
2
pistons.
of them are the old style.
Right.
I've never had a problem with the new one.
How many pistons?
2 pistons and 2 heads, yeah. From a broken piston ring.
Clutch or no? You don't have a clutch.
No clutch.
But like, guys, you have to understand, like we have customers, and if you rate a customer on a scale of 1 to 10 is about how easy they are to deal with, Ross is a 24. Okay, he had everything go wrong. He's paid retail for this unit. This is not a sponsored pilot. This is a guy who wanted to get a motor, and we all agree. I mean, everybody in the business agrees. If you've flown paramotors for a while, all paramotors are pieces of crap.
Yeah, you're running on the bleeding edge. As much power as you can get out of the lightest unit, things are going to happen.
But what I've been really thankful for is that Air Conception supported you, we've supported you, our goal is to support you, and that will continue. And no matter what brand we're selling, our customer support's number one. And so, so to answer the questions about Air Conception, we totally respect Laurent and Christophe. We love them. We've had, our times with Christophe have been legendary, like literally like incredible. His sons are like our family, his bride. It's not working with Technofly. It felt like part of my heart was ripped out because Christophe stayed at my house for a week. Like these guys are our family. So we wish them the very best. We totally respect the brand. We think they have some really unique things. But honestly, we're really, really happy with where we are now. What were you going to say?
No, just the new facilities and the new motors here are amazing. And having this much room and the amount of inventory I see coming and go out of here is crazy compared to the old location.
We finally have breathing room.
Yeah.
We're going to run out of room, though. We're running out of offices already. We keep hiring people. Oh, man. I'm trying to see. I don't know if I'm getting the most recent text. Let's see, 27. No, I'm 11 minutes behind on messages. Oops.
Whoa.
Let me talk really quick about some of the things about Ross. So, Ross, can you explain to the community kind of who you've been, what got you, what made you want to fly, what do you do now about flying, and where are you going in the next year? And don't get into too many details, because some of it's secret, but coming close to the mic, let's talk about it.
Well, let's see. I've been, what is it? About 3+ years ago, I learned to fly up in North Carolina. I had some empty weekends. I was trying to figure out what type of sports I was going to get into. I tried competitive shooting a little bit. I started to think about doing those 3-gun competitions and found out that's a lot more expensive than actually paramotors are.
That's what my brother does for a living. And I don't know how he affords it. That's crazy.
And I saw some paramotors down at the beach and said, that looks pretty cool. So I didn't come from it from watching YouTube videos. I came up from actually seeing people flying around.
You're the only one.
And so I started training at this place. It's called AirX PPG now in North Carolina. And when I studied there, I think I soloed the same day that when Woody was training a while ago. I think his 10th flight was on the same day that I soloed.
Really?
Out on that field at the same time.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I met him. But that's been a great experience there. We got a lot of flying in the Raleigh area where I'm from, has like 30 pilots plus amazing amount of people in a close area. So we have a little Facebook group and we just post, hey, we'll be out here tomorrow. We have 5 to 20 people show up. It's crazy.
I was telling this story earlier. 7 years ago, I started flying here at Lake Wales. And there was one other guy within an hour drive that flew paramotors that I could find, period. And he actually was here at Lake Wales. And you fast forward, and I was talking about Charlotte, and I said, in Charlotte, there's probably 20 people that go out and fly with each other any weekend, right? And now in this area, there's probably 150. If we put a call out, we'll have 150 pilots show up. And it's just so neat to see the growth of the community. And that's a lot of what we're working on for the end of this year, is trying to better that community and build it and try to create more ways that there can be interaction and that sort of thing. And I think it's really neat what you guys have done in Charlotte because, I mean, Elena, Woody, a whole bunch of guys.
It's amazing.
They all just flew down the freaking runway at Charlotte International.
I've been here for 2 months. That's the first time I've been jealous about those guys up there.
It's still really cold there, so.
Yeah, I'm not going north until it gets warmer up there.
Well, tell me what's next for you? What is obviously your background and your passions? I mean, as a phenomenal photographer, an investment property guy, like you've been here for 2 months, not just because the weather's good.
No,
what's your experience been?
It's a family here. I've been traveling the country starting last October and traveled to the middle of the U.S., went to California.
Saw us in Vegas.
Saw you guys in Vegas, then happened to hook up with Tucker and flew the desert and Hoover Dam and all that stuff. Went down to Mexico for a while.
So jealous.
And then it started to get cold, so I decided to come here.
Yep.
And they won't let me leave now.
No, actually, officer, I swear there are no handcuffs, but he is chained to the chair.
Pretty close. I'm slave labor fixing machines and whatever else they want me to do around here just because I don't want to leave.
It's incredible to have Ross. There's a lot of people who kind of migrate, not just to Aviator, but to all of our Alliance locations where it's super talented, passionate aviators, people who grasp the vision of what we're trying to do and they want to be a part of it. Mm-hmm. And Ross has some opportunities coming up this next year that we hope that he'll join us with to help us launch some new programs and help us develop what we're doing. But like with Travis had said in the video, 6 months ago, Travis couldn't leave. And now with the great people like Ross that we brought in, there's an opportunity for all of us to grow together. And with Travis still helping give us some wisdom, I think it's really exciting. And I wish I could just hand you an employment contract and make you sign it with a clause you're not allowed to leave Lake Wales, because that would make you stay.
When it gets warmer, I'm on kind of a trek to go around the entire United States over the next year. So,
are you going to go up to Alaska?
Maybe. I tried not to think that far in the
That's
future.
That's really far out there.
And I just talked to someone who drove from Alaska to LA, and they said, for the first 5 days, driving 17 hours a day. I'm like, well, holy moly. But
it's worth it, though.
Yeah, that was at Saboba Flight Park. They came down there, which is a really cool place.
I did, when I was 19, I took a motorcycle from Tennessee to Pennsylvania, to Florida, to Alaska, to San Diego and back. And that was the dumbest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
Sounds awesome, though.
It was epic. But I want to go back, and I want to do it with a van like yours, motorcycle and paramotor in the back.
There you go.
And just take a year. Because that's the way to do it. Take a year and go all the way up and take all the dirt roads, four-wheel drive van. It's a must.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
I've gotten stuck in the mud a couple of times and had to be pulled out. So thank you, Kyle. Let's see. So here I'm going to start heading up toward New York and maybe even Nova Scotia is where an end goal, and try to find cool places to fly as I go. Very cool. I'm going to try to be better about posting online where I am in the paramotor group stuff. So if you see me coming through, find me and tell me where I can fly that's cool.
So guys, seriously, I'm going to make him create a page after this, because right now he just has a Facebook profile. If you're watching this, search Ross Gassaway. It's Gassaway. He'll have a page before the end of the night. You can like the page, and he can follow up with you, because he's going to be having some really unique meetups and stuff to meet, even if you're not a pilot yet.
Yeah,
to help you along your way and teach some clinics and help you guys learn to kite. And there's going to be some really cool opportunities. And honestly, like Ross embodies exactly what we look for at Aviator as far as just a dedication to service. And Travis and I have talked about it for years about trying to hire you. So I think it's really, really great that you're here. And yeah. Thanks, man.
I think RAS is going to stick.
Uh-oh.
RAS is pretty good. I mean, we keep adding more and more call signs, which is great.
And he doesn't have one yet.
There's some I just don't want to mention.
I believe it. All right, so let me pull up some questions if there are any here. I'm trying to keep up because we're on 3 different platforms, so it makes it a little bit more challenging. JB got it. Thank you very much, Jason, for thinking I should put the helmet back on. I don't disagree. Can I wear it backwards and in front of my face instead? Boom.
See, I was going to take my van and wrap it like a short bus, and I can get a picture of you in the back window licking the glass.
That might be offensive, but I kind of feel like it's true.
The para-short bus?
The para-short bus. All right. Is there anybody else in here that has any questions aside from Kyle Mooney asking, would our chairs look different if our knees bent backwards?
I can't wrap my head around that one. I thought Kyle would have something more creative than that, actually.
I had faith in Kyle. I'm a little disappointed. I'm not going to lie. Ernie DeVlet,
I'm sure it's on a private chat somewhere.
Ernie wants to know if where he's going to have to send his meat now.
Oh, Ernie! Oh my God! Well,
I still have a sliver left.
Let me explain Ernie's meat. Okay.
Let's be clear about Ernie's meat. Very stiff.
It's very stiff and it's very delicious.
Fatty too. Has a creamy top.
Ernie's from South Africa and he makes the best Billtong I've ever had.
Billtong.
And Billtong. I don't know how to say it. Actually, Bastion's the one that introduced me to that years ago. And Bastion
Alan is hanging out with Bastion today in South Africa, and I'm so jealous.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes.
So, Ernie, thank you so much. It didn't last long, sir.
There's a little in the fridge here if you want some.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Billtong is beef that's been dried, but not like a dehydrated dried. It's like just naturally dried.
It's nothing like American jerky.
No.
It's 100 times better.
It is 100 times better. And I'm a jerky nut. Like if I could get bulkbeefjerky.com to sponsor Paradigm, I'd do it. I'd have to start flying a trike because I'd be 400 pounds. But yeah,
keto, man.
It's really good. Really, really good. Billtong's amazing. So Ernie, you can still send it here. Travis is still heavily involved. I think a big part of what we wanted to have this conversation was just that while things are changing behind the scenes, what you guys will see on the outside is still the same. And the experience that the students will get is the same. Next week, we're going to introduce you guys to Chris, who's our new school manager, who's amazing. We're also going to take some time to introduce you to all the team members through pilot spotlights, employee spotlights. We're about to turn the engine on. We hired this guy who, he's in the room right now, so I'm gonna be less nice. His name is John freaking Hancock. All right? Like, seriously, his name is John Hancock, and he can do the signature. Like, that was the first question we had from his interview. Was like, can you do the signature?
He said he learned it in, like, kindergarten.
Yeah. He was like, well, I had to be able to impress the girls with something. Also, by the way, he's beautiful, and his wife is way prettier, so he's doing something right. Like, he's doing something right. But he's going to be helping us out with a lot of video content. We have some incredible trips planned this year. There's some opportunities that are coming up that we're going to be able to kind of cross-blend some sports. Overlanding, motocross, space jumping, really cool adventure stuff, plus everything else, and hopefully this weekly podcast too. So I hope that if we're able to, excuse me, continue to build the content, we can keep getting to know everybody in the community better and really help answer their questions sooner. Because I felt like one of the things that you and I have really dropped the ball on this quarter, this whole new year, was that we didn't want to upset anyone at Air Conception. Mm-hmm. We never want to overpromise and underdeliver. We wanted to know what our relationships were. Like, we have a conversation this weekend with Laurent at Palm Bay to find out, can we order parts aside from warranty? Like, what can we do? Because we want to make sure that whatever we do is totally transparent, but we don't want to say something too soon. So by creating this, which is a lot more informal, where we can share our feelings and share our experiences, our hope is that we're going to be able to take the opportunity to kind of meet with you guys once a week and say, hey, here's what's going on at Aviator. Yeah. Do you have questions? Let us help. And I've seen some other questions here I want to answer before we sign off. We'll probably get done in like 5-10 minutes. But if we can keep an hour a week where we can connect with the community, I think it'll be really cool. Travis will keep coming in whenever he can. I know that we're going to have some great guests. We have some segments we want to do, like favorite flight. Maybe we'll do that in the last 5 minutes, kind of talk about the Montana video. Okay. But we love you guys, and we're only here because of you. And without our Aviator family and the paramotor community at large, we have no reason to be here. And like Ross said earlier, this is a family. It's a special thing. And last night we got to welcome 6 new pilots into our little family, and it never gets old. There are times when you're exhausted. There's times when it's tiring, when it's tearing you away from your family, your children. But the reality is that even if you're torn away from your kids and you're exhausted, like Travis has been, and there's no question that he's going to be back in that room to be a part of that final ceremony after people fly, even if he's not working here full time. And that's part of why we get along so well, because we have the same passion. We have the same passion to serve people. Yep. So, 10? Cool, 10 minutes. We have a couple of other questions from people I want to answer really quickly. One was, will be adding any more apparel and accessories to the shop? Silent Halo, yes. Coffee mugs, which are definitely full of coffee, I swear. You want some coffee, by the way?
Oh, I'll take some of that coffee.
Enjoy the coffee, sir. The coffee mugs, we have coffee mugs, tons of other stuff that is in stock right now. Our store is being migrated. We're creating a full, amazing Shopify store that designs everything so we can keep better track of our numbers of what's in stock, what's not. This is actually kind of ties back to the whole story. 4 years ago, we went from about 150 customers to today, we have about 2,000 customers.
Or more.
2 years ago, we had 4 employees and about 800 customers. 6 months ago or 4 months ago, we had 2,000 plus customers with 4 employees. So you can understand why Travis and myself are in that position. We're just like, and with the added stress of the fact that he'd already retired once and it was kind of not fair to his family. And I totally respect what he's done. And so we're working really hard to systemize things now. We've hired some incredible people that are really sharp business folks. They're going to help us be able to bring things like this to you. Just today, John, who's behind the counter, is like, hey, listen, I got 3 new shirt ideas, and I'm going to get them up, and they're going to be below every YouTube video. They're going to scroll down and go to comments, and you're going to be able to buy a shirt. And it's like, that's so easy, and it's something that we should have done years ago. We just haven't had the mental energy to do any of it because we're so focused on serving customers. Yeah. It's hard to focus on growth. So that's coming. Another question that was a really good one that I'd like to go through is, Resurgence PPG. Sorry, squirrel. Todd Scandrett, you're the man. This is the shirt. The man boobs are in it. He says we need to stock the Rise blend of coffee from a warm cup of Joe to support your boy. Done and done. I need a sticker that says warm cup of Joe served here in honor of Resurgence PPG that I can put on the refrigerator at both locations, and we'll buy the coffee. You get us stickers, we'll buy the coffee. If you guys don't know about Resurgence PPG, you should. Resurgence is an incredible charity, and I'll let one of you guys talk about it since I've been on a monologue for 3.5 minutes.
You've got the shirt on.
Oh, well.
Scoot in.
Uh-oh. God. Okay, how am I going to shield for Todd this time? So
I have faith.
Resurgence PPG. Todd is a single person who is retired military after an issue, had some time on his hands, decided to create an organization to help veterans in the same position he was in get back into the air. So he's created Resurgence PPG, and he gets a lot of help, donations from people to sponsor pilots. And he has a lot of people sending in letters to him to let him know who is available, who wants to learn to fly. And he has a huge list of people who want to learn to fly, but not enough money to teach everybody. So and that's the fun part.
These guys are special guys. Like the important thing to realize is that each of us, I mean, he's the only one that served the nation, but the reality is that each of us has a special opportunity to get to share the air. And there's a lot of guys out there who are suffering from PTSD, from lost limbs, from major injuries, from catastrophic stuff that literally has almost destroyed their lives. The number of veterans that are committing suicide right now is astronomical and appalling. And what he gets to do with Resurgence and that we get to support is allow these guys to see new life. And we talked about it twice tonight. Like, we believe when you fly, it changes your life or it makes you a better person. And what Todd's mission is, I mean, Todd hadn't even learned to fly yet when he started the 501c3.
No,
it's crazy.
You know, but he saw the vision, he saw the passion, and I think I am so honored to know Todd. I'm so honored to be able to support
He's an amazing
Resurgence.
person, even if he's not doing this.
He is.
Yeah.
Although he likes Monster more than Red Bull, which is just weird.
He's kind of gotten me to swing that way too.
Yeah, but you're just weird
Todd.
too. No, but I think the heart of it for me is just he understands how much flying changes people, and he believes in it. Mm-hmm. And I think that if the whole community can come behind him, we can help hundreds of injured vets turn their mind from the trauma and the pain and the suffering and be able to share the joy of what we get to do. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah, the 2 people who we saw come through here last month with the disabilities were rock stars in the class. They were amazing. They
both were single leg amputees.
Single leg amputees, and they could outrun a lot of the regular students.
They could outrun me.
Yeah. So one of the guys had about a 150-foot or 150-yard run.
His first launch.
He
went
was
across the
like,
field
holy smokes.
This ain't got off the ground.
Kited 3 different directions before he got off and made it. And like, holy smokes, that's amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely amazing. So, guys, if you get the opportunity, you can use Amazon Smile. It's the easiest way to support Resurgence. If you're a business owner or someone who makes anything more than $24,000 a year, a 501c3 non-taxable donation helps you pay your taxes less. So instead of doing whatever the political regime wants you to do, donate $100, go in, help out other pilots, help people, even if you don't fly yourself. There's a guy named Sanders. I'm not sure how do you say your name, Sanders, but I've been really blessed by this guy. He's followed the Paradigm page. Every post, he leaves a comment, shares every one. Sanders Rignevga. It's a really funky name, dude. I'm sorry. But when I posted my birthday charity donation for my birthday in January on Facebook, he promised you to make a donation. Nearly a month later, he finally made the donation. He's like, I got my paycheck. Here you go. Guy doesn't fly yet.
Yeah. That's nice.
He doesn't fly yet. And there's so many of you out there that don't fly yet, but you see the vision, you see the passion, you see the value of sharing flight. And that's what Todd saw. And that's what our passion is trying to help encourage that and build that. So Todd, huge shout out. You know you have our support forever. And yeah. Last question that I want to address before we go into Montana's story, because we got to end this thing in 4 minutes. People are asking about if we're going to have intermediate and advanced classes. The answer is not only yes, but oh heck yes. And not just us, but all the Alliance partners. We're working on streamlining our initial training so that we can offer more trainings in the future. Thermaling clinics, free flight clinics, trike clinics, tandem clinics, PPG-3 clinics, tons of stuff that we can do to not only make pilots safer, but allow you to experience way more aspects of the sport. I was talking to a guy that Ron trained earlier today. He's on his way to be a U-2 pilot. Super good dude.
A U-2 pilot?
U-2 pilot, Dragon
They
Lady.
still fly U-2s?
Yeah, man.
Wow.
U-2s and B-52s, the two longest serving aircraft. Yeah. So he's on his way to go do that, and he wants to start speed flying. And I said, before you go start speed flying, wait and take a clinic with. We'll partner with some of the best speed flying instructors in the world, and we'll work with them to try to create a really good experience so that you don't make mistakes like I did and hurt yourself, which I didn't, barely.
Yeah.
So we're working on that big time. That for us is a really big program, and that's part of why with Travis and I working together in a different role, instead of taking care of the day-to-day stuff, Travis and I are able to work more on big picture stuff, which is really exciting because the day-to-day becomes overwhelming. Mm-hmm. And so we're hiring better people to help us with the day-to-day, and Travis and I can start sitting down and figuring out, especially with Chris and Ron, like what it needs to look like for every class. So that's coming. Expect it in the next 6 months.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to pull a freaking host move.
What's a host move?
I'm going to ask John to roll a minute of Montana video. What do you think, John? I got 2 thumbs up.
Is it up?
There we go.
Is it rolling?
It's rolling right now. Tell us about Montana, Travis.
Montana. Well, I don't know if there's as much of a story other than John asked me what was your favorite flight or the one that you remember the most. And so one of our very dear friends and who we trained here a year ago, John Stidham, has a ranch in Montana. So we were traveling last summer for about 5 weeks, and we had an opportunity in between air shows to go visit John.
Just a short, 40-hour drive out of the way.
40 hours. It was like 40 hours down a dirt road.
I've lost about an inch of my hairline from that drive.
Right, with a 45-foot fifth wheel behind us in these massive grades.
Oh, my God.
Holy moly! But what an amazing place. I think this is what John Hancock is rolling right now. I can't see it, but we had the opportunity to fly out there, and the weather only broke once. So I think we were there for 2 nights.
Yep.
And we had one short window one morning, and I don't know, it was magical. Just the light and the relief of the terrain.
Jump to that video,
the
John.
river that we got to fly over. If Micah's listening, I got a great foot rub from Micah.
Micah, all right, so in the video, the goodbye video, there's a scene in there where Travis is getting sung happy birthday to, and we had 6,000 people singing happy birthday to Travis. And the next year, we're in Montana where there are 16 people within 50 miles. So
Yeah.
he got a foot rub and a whole bunch of YouTube comments.
Yeah, that was really special. I don't even remember how Michael lost the bet to get the foot rub, but it wasn't the only bet that he lost. He's probably watching this or will watch it.
He lost a few bets
He
that
lost- I won't
summer.
say
And he's
anything
looking
with
at
the
coming
others.
to be an instructor for
I
us
know,
now.
and he'd be amazing.
Yeah, I think he would too. He's
Such
getting
a
married
good
in May.
guy. I mean, he's such a good dude. You guys see the videos that he made, and wow, really
Yeah.
incredible guy. So he's graduating college and getting married
In a week.
in a week, which I did just about 25 years ago.
You did that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. That's absolutely true. And
Yeah.
that's a there's so many, like we could do full podcasts on the stories of our relationships, because John Hancock and my new executive assistant, his wife, met through a Tinder date with one of his friends.
With one of Micah's friends?
No, one of John's friends.
Oh,
John's friend got a Tinder date with this girl that John had been in love with for 6 years, and then they ended up married. Not the Tinder date, John and her. Like, super cool stories, man. We could have, like, full-on hour-long conversations about the craziest relationship stories ever. You met your wife in the Coast Guard Academy. I met my wife on a
I was her
joke
math
date.
tutor.
A math tutor?
I was.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, no, I was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why haven't you tutored me on math yet? Oh my
man.
gosh, I love it.
Yeah.
Well, quick. I mean, we're over time now, but if there are any questions in the chat, I'm looking at the YouTube chat right now. The other chats are not working for me perfectly, but if anyone's on YouTube and has any questions for us to end this with, I'd love to answer any questions you guys might have. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. We want to do this every week. We want to continue to build the Aviator family and continue to share with you guys on a more informal level. We think that podcasts and whatnot are the way to do it. We are going to have this released on iTunes and everything else as we're able to get through all those application processes. But this is the first one.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you guys one question too. Do you guys feel like this helped you better understand what happened with Travis and I? Not that we have any animosity, that honestly we're better for it and it's less stressful for it. Do you guys feel good? Because it's tough in this business. There's so much criticism.
Well, and it's good because we've had a lot of people too just ask questions or ask about the relationship with air conception and what happened. And again, like Eric mentioned earlier, we always have wanted to be open
Positive.
and transparent about everything, and never disparage anybody. I mean, it's written into Aviator's mission statement from years ago.
Years and years.
In the way that we do business here. So very important to us.
Absolutely. All right, answering quick questions as fast as I can. Scud server, future for PPG power plants. There are some incredible things coming. I will reveal this now for the first time ever. We are close to release of a direct transplant for a Moster 185 style chassis for an electric paramotor that will be affordable and usable, and it should be available by Q3 of 2019. This is not going to be a cross-country machine. This is for your average pilot that likes to fly 30 minutes and enjoy it. It should be the first usable, affordable electric out there. There are four-stroke stuff that I don't see happening anytime soon. I see some really incredible advances from Vitarazi.
Yeah, that we can't
We
give
can't
details
talk about,
on,
but there's some incredible
we
advances.
saw some really neat stuff going on out there. Yeah.
And the thing for us too, going to Vitarazi, it was the difference between going to someone who's deeply passionate and works in their garage and going to Lamborghini. Their level of, that sounds negative. I don't want to sound negative.
It's not quite that far, but it's.
And this is not talking about previous brands we've worked with.
No.
Just the amount of attention to detail. For instance, we sent a note to one of our manufacturers we work with today actually, that we had an issue with a product that was shipped, and the reply was not just to us. The reply was to their stocking manager, their designers, everybody else said, first off, supply manager, send them this replacement part immediately. This was shipped incorrectly. Designers, please put this in the file to let the rest of the design team know that this was a flaw that was shipped, so we can make sure that we fix it for the future and double check. Same thing's true of Vitarazi. Every single thing that we've done with them has been so instrumental. They look at a problem and they solve it properly.
Yeah.
It's not solved with don't touch it. It's not solved. It's solved properly. Okay, we have an issue with the exhaust. Well, here's how we can fix it. 50 hours, you do this, this, and this. Also, by the way, if you guys want to know the secret to not having your exhaust break, we've been flying Vitarazis for 3 months with zero issues. Zero. And we fly the pants off them. We have, I think, 11 of them in the factory, in the showroom right now. Mm. We fly the pants off these. We've got one that's flying tandems every day. Yeah. Vitarazi 185, 270-pound student, big pilot, right? Flies every day.
And only a few of those have the new MY19 exhaust.
Yeah, they're running three spring exhausts. Yeah. Here's the secret, Vitarazi pilots. If you fly a Moster and you're afraid of cracking your exhaust, thank you, Justin Fox, for filling us in on this. This is what works. Start it on your back, please. Let it run for 3 minutes before you go to power. Slow expansion of the exhaust chamber allows for it to be much less brittle. We've had 0 exhaust failures in hundreds. I mean, it's cumulatively, it has to be 400 hours.
Yeah, no.
I mean, probably more than that. And we fly a lot here, guys. This is Florida. So let it warm up for at least 3 minutes, just at idle, little bumps of power to make sure it doesn't die. Zero issues. This
Honestly,
is
it's like
huge.
I lay out the glider, I start it on my back, and the 3 minutes occurs as I'm walking out and clipping in.
I actually lay my glider out now with the motor on my back.
Do you?
Yeah, just so like I have extra time. It's been amazing. So like that's the biggest ping on Aviator is bad exhaust, and that we have not had one issue has been huge. Plus they changed it with MY19,
With the MY19,
and there's a whole So big deal. That makes a difference. Let me go through some more questions really quickly. Let's see. Joseph Todd, we love you too. Ripman, thank you very much. Slow Days. Travis is the coolest guy.
Thanks.
No, seriously, like people
true.
understand. Like, I always get kind of like, I don't know. I feel very special and very honored that I could convince this guy to come work for me for as long as he did, and not with me. At first, it was for me, and then very quickly I realized that I couldn't do it without him, so he had to come be with me. And every piece of it has been huge. Craig wants to ask if he can stop by your house.
Craig
C. Don't know who it is, but Craig C.
Don't know.
Drew Patterson, who's just here. Our Eagle. Let's see. There's some more questions here. Know any place to train in Canada? David Wintland, send us an email, info@aviatorppg.com or John at aviatorppg.com. It's JOHN. We can put you in touch with some great people in Canada. Absolutely. Let's see. We've got... trying to go through if there's any more major questions we have to address. We are 7 minutes over right now, so I want to get these done. Silent Halo, we will be doing these live chats in the future. Every Tuesday night, I think the timeline will be 6 p.m. That way I can get home in time to hopefully see my kids before they go to sleep. That's the goal. We've got, let's see here, Rob. Oh, this is a good question. Rob File. By the way, hi, Rob. Good to see you, man. Rob's one of our students.
Yeah.
Great guy, handyman from the very, very rich part of California. I'll let you guess which. Rob wants to know, you just said tandem trikes are legal. You mean I just can get a tandem trike, learn to fly it, and take my wife in the air? No license required.
Not quite.
Not quite. No. So what this means is the FAA has honored exemptions to 3 or 4 different organizations: USHPA, USUA, USPPA, which is piggybacked,
and ASC.
So I think there's 3 organizations they've created an exemption for that have created a training program that makes it legal to do instructional use tandems. This is instructional only. You can't go out and do rides for fun. And to get it, you have to be a paramotor flight instructor. Mm-hmm. To do it on a trike, you have to be a paramotor wheel launch instructor. You have to then go through a specialized training, usually 5 days, to get your tandem rating. We will be offering these at Aviator eventually. It's something we're working on. It's a priority for us because we know there's lots of people who don't want to not just take up their family, but they want to use it as a way to inspire people to get into the air. Mm-hmm. What's really important to us here, Travis and I have talked about this for many hours, is that when you take someone else up there, their life is in your hands. And I had an acquaintance who a few years ago had an accident, and it killed his passenger. And he later took his own life. So we don't take this lightly. It's a really big deal. It's a really big deal to do a tandem. It's something that I will never sign somebody off because they can do it. I will only sign someone off if I believe that they have the best interest of that passenger at heart, that they're going to do the right thing. They're going to be deeply passionate and honoring that passenger and keeping them safe and giving them great pre-flight briefings and checking the weather and making good decisions. And that's something that we both have believed in from day one. Yeah. So no, it's not a simple process. Right now, the requirements differ from organization to organization. Aviators' requirements are always going to be higher. We truly believe that to do the minimum is not the right thing.
Never.
Yeah. So when we do put this together, it won't be a weekend crash course. Like if somebody, I had a gentleman who's in the chat right now, Jason, he asked me, he said, I'm going to be down there for a couple of days and I got my PPG 3. Can you help me get my instructor rating? And I told him straight up, I was like, if you want to go and you want to go meet with another one of the instructor administrators of the USPPA, I think there's 7 or 8 of us now. I said, you can probably get it done in a weekend. If you want to do it with us, you're going to just spend about a month minimum to get your instructor rating. And we even do that for our employees. Kyle worked for us for what, a year before he got his rating?
Kyle, I was a year before I got my rating.
Yeah. And it's not as a negative. It's just that we really want to uphold the rating system and do the best job we possibly can to really show value, because the ratings should matter. They should mean something, right?
Yeah.
And if you go out and you're going to trust someone who's a USPPA instructor or an ASC instructor, or even more importantly for us, an aviator instructor, someone that works for one of our alliance schools, they need to be the best of the best of the best, people that you can trust with your time, your money, and your life. And so we work really hard to make sure that we always do that and that we really honor people. So whenever we do eventually get into a trike tandem program, it's not going to be for the guy who's been flying for 6 months. It's going to be for somebody who really values their life. For example's sake, I didn't take my wife for a tandem until I'd been flying paramotors for 6.5 years. All right. I took tons of other people, but I want to take care of mind you, she was pregnant and nursing the entire time. But I didn't want to take my wife or my children until I was absolutely beyond confident that I had it under control, because it matters that much. It matters that much for every passenger you take, every student you take. So there's lots of opportunity out there. I hope that answers the question for you. Let me see if there's any more questions. Someone said Velcro. Hi, Magnus.
Velcro.
Someone just said prove it and hot soup. Do you do instructor ratings? Johnny Hour, we do. I am an AFI through ASC and a administrator through USPPA. We can do instructor ratings. Right now, we don't have instructor clinics scheduled just for the reasons that I just explained. It is such a time-involved thing. We would love to do, there are several people who do instructor ratings on the side, and they usually do them over a weekend. It's just not something that we were ever interested in doing. You know, to do a weekend, check your box, you're an instructor now. We want to make sure you actually know how to teach.
Yeah, to even get started with an instructor rating at Aviator, you'd have to spend a significant amount of time here going through the course with students, actual students, real students, hands-on, and that's really the best way to learn. There's no other way to teach it. You can't teach it in a classroom.
Right, and the other side of that too is that what we developed at Aviator, largely with Travis's help and Eric DeFore and a lot of other phenomenal instructors, is we didn't develop the USPPA. We didn't use the USPPA plan form. We used that as a starting point. We said, that's a great starting point. What can we do to make it better? What can we do to make this a blend of a private pilot course, a instructor course, and a paramotor course with paragliding thrown in? And if we sign off someone to be an instructor, we want them to teach the same course. We don't want them to teach the bare minimums and have students that they teach then leave and not have the experience they would have at Aviator. We want them to teach the same experience they'd have at any of the alliance schools or at our school. We want them to have an experience to make them confident, competent, and safe. And that's a lot more involved than the average school. And that's not a dig to any school in the U.S. No. You guys do your research and find people who you trust. Some schools are going to be better than others and people that you really respect. But the key for us has always been that the customer, the client, the student comes first, and creating an experience that's going to keep them safe and help them be the best pilots they can be is everything. So quick answer to Johnny Hour. I'd be interested in doing like a 6-month instructor apprenticeship. If you guys are interested in applying for any jobs here at Aviator, whether it's internships or otherwise, please email info@aviatorppg.com. That'll be charted to either our school manager, myself, etc., and we'll be happy to talk to you guys about it. We're always open to new opportunities like that. Brian Schwartz, there'll be more mechanical videos coming out as more is learned about the best practices, tips, recommended maintenance, etc. Yes, sir. In fact, we have over 40 videos in the queue to shoot. We have 7 that are shot and ready to edit. We're in the midst of hiring a video editor to help us because there's just too much footage. So we're trying to get that stuff done. Let's see. What decibel hearing protection do you recommend? All the decibels.
I have no idea.
I don't know, as much as possible.
Yeah. We generally have the Peltor earmuffs, and then we all fly with the earbuds.
I don't anymore with the Aviator headset. I don't.
Well, the Aviator's got a upgraded Peltor versus the ones that we built.
And I actually just bought some gel cups for it.
Did you?
I bought 30 sets of them for people who want to upgrade even more if they're flying. Because like most pilots, if you're flying cross countries and you're at half throttle, it's no big deal. If you fly like I do, where it's 12 minutes at full throttle, and every time you turn your head to do the next barrel roll to the right, and you're just like, "Mah!" That's when gel cups are nice.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're 15 minutes past time. Travis, do you have anything else you want to say?
Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for watching. Hi, Mason and Violet. They told me I had to say that.
Hey, Mason and Violet.
My kids.
I love it.
And I think we did okay for the first one.
We did. Once we figured out that I have to sit this far away and you have to sit this close.
Right here.
It's a mustache for Travis.
Yeah.
Guys, it's an honor always. We're still getting through this whole, like, how do we do this thing? But it's such a joy to be here with you all. Andrew Everts asked if we're going to be at Oshkosh. Yes, sir. We are going to be at Oshkosh. Absolutely. We can't wait. We're really excited about it. If you'd like to make sure we're on the center stage, we're not sure if we're flying the center stage or not yet. We were a little dubious on that. Feel free to tweet, Facebook message, contact EAA AirVenture, and let them know that you want to see us on the main stage once again. We have some opportunities to do some incredible fireworks stuff this year, and we'd like to do it, but they have to ask us to come. It's all on them. So thank you all so very much. If you have more questions and you'd like to have more input or feedback, feel free to contact us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram at Aviator Paramotor. This is new, and we are keeping up with it. We're going to be doing more live streams there on Instagram, just off the cuff to answer your questions, and expect to hear from us next week, 6 o'clock Eastern time. On Tuesday, right here back in the War Room. So, guys, thank you very much. We'll be interviewing Chris Garrison, who was launch director for SpaceX. He's now our school manager, and hopefully he'll be awake enough to work with us. We will be at Palm Bay
wearing
flying.
him out.
I know.
Yeah.
We'll be at Palm Bay flying this weekend, and we'll look forward to seeing you there. Thanks again for watching.
Thank you, guys.
You ready for a nap?